Guys, is there anyone else out there besides me that's just flat out tired of the business books? I'm tired of reading these kind of books. I've read them all. I love them. Not all of them, but I've read most of them. And I went through that stage of my life, and I think everyone's going to go through that stage of their life, and I enjoyed it. But I'm tired of the business books because they're all the same, right? Now, that's not entirely true because there are some of the classics like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like Think and Grow Rich, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. And there are a few that have trickled in that are really, really good books that I would put my stamp of approval and say you should read it. But a lot of the books that have come out in the last few years, they're all the same. They're all just another version of saying the same exact thing with a little bit of a different twist, which is cool. But at some point, you got to stop reading and you got to start doing, right? And I want to build a life. I want to spend my time building a life that somebody or I can write about that's interesting. I don't want to spend my time reading about other people's interesting lives, right? And so what I want to talk about really quick is what are the books that I'm reading right now? And if you don't care, great, that's fine. But I always do like to hear, and if anyone comes up or like gets up on a podcast or YouTube and they share the same stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, give me something unique. Tell me something different than the most recent Gary Vee book or the most recent Grant Cardone book, which again, I've read them all. And I want to share that with you, and hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into where my mind's at, into where I'm thinking and how I'm thinking, and I'm just going to go from there. So number one is, if you haven't noticed, I'm trying to look at what everyone's doing. Like, if everyone's doing this, I want to do this, right? Zig while they zag. That's the reason why I shoot these YouTube videos once. If you haven't noticed, I'm sure you have. You're like, dude, that quality, bro. You should have cut that part. You should have cut that. You're sniffling. You're wiping your nose. Whatever. You're coughing. Don't care. I'm trying to just make it raw and real. I'm trying to do the exact opposite of everybody else. And so I'm sitting here going, everybody's reading the same books. Everyone's reading the same exact books. And so and by the way, there's one specific genre of business book that I really, really enjoy. And that is Billionaire business biographies. I could consume that until I'm blue in the face. And what I mean by that is books like this. Books like the founder of Nike, Phil Knight. This book right here is a phenomenal book. Books like this book right here is unreal. Stephen Schwartzman, I think that's his name. Yeah, Stephen Schwartzman, the founder of Blackstone. Okay, a massive, massive, massive company. This is the kind of stuff I like, okay? Outside of that, I'm out on the business books. I'm taking a break. I'm taking a hiatus, and I have been for a minute. And here's what I'm really, really enjoying instead. And you guys might think I'm a little dark. You guys might think I'm a little whatever, and I don't really care. But again, I'm thinking along the lines of, if everyone's doing this, I want to do the opposite. If everyone's reading business books, I want to read this other thing, or I want to not read it all. And if everyone's marketing like this, how do I market this way? And if everyone has a website, I don't want one. And I'm trying to do everything the exact opposite. And so my favorite type of book as of late, probably the last year, is I really, really, really enjoy the dark stuff. I love reading about cults. Yeah. I love reading about cartels. Yeah. I love reading about crime. And you're like, okay, cool, thanks for telling us about your hobby. No, the interesting thing is I pull so many business principles from these books. It's insane. I have learned so many things by reading about Pablo Escobar and the Cali cartel and Felix Gallardo and all of the cartel stuff that it would probably shock you and probably make you scratch your head and go, dude, you're a little dark. But I really enjoy it, and I pull business principles. I pull a lot of business principles because selling those things, and I don't even know how much that I can say blatantly or bluntly without having this video get flagged or whatever, but that business is very similar to regular business, right? It's a product, there's a market, there's a profit margin, and how do we sell it? right? And I know that sounds a little bit dark. Some of you guys are like, dude, what's going on with you, man? What's up? I am tired of the same old stuff. Everyone saying the same thing, everyone doing the same thing, everyone being Mr. Motivation online, everyone having a little bit of success, and all of a sudden they are going to share their thoughts, their little whatever of how to be successful and how you can make your little 10, 15 grand like them. Okay. I want to be the exact opposite. And so I'm looking at, like, everyone's studying the business people. I want to study the crime bosses. Everyone's studying the business people. I want to freaking study the cartels. Okay? And so the principle here is not that you need to go and read that stuff, because you might not like that stuff. You might not be fascinated by that stuff. I am. I love those type of books. And some of my favorite ones that are out there, I will try and drop in the description and maybe like link it up or whatever. But the principle here is zig while they zag, okay? If everyone's getting their information and their insights and their ideas and their whatever from the same source, everything's gonna be vanilla, okay? So how can we look outside of what everyone else is doing and do the opposite? How can we, and that's exactly why I started selling the way that I sell and that I teach to sell in my program, is I realized everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's calling, everyone's DMing on Facebook and saying, hey, we can get your website ranked and we can sell you leads and everything else. And I'm like, no. What if we called with a hot piping lead named Janet and offered the business owner a free lead for no strings attached? And instead of calling and beating around the bush and saying, oh, I have this little side school project about, whatever, and trying to go in the back door, what if we just called the business owner and we say, Mr. Business Owner, I'm going to be straight with you. I am calling you because I want to earn your business. I'm calling you because I saw you running ads, and I'm calling you to give you the very thing you're trying to accomplish by running ads. And all I'm asking in exchange is that we talk in a few days. What if we did that? So the principle of this is, yes, those are the books I'm interested in, but I don't care if you read those. What I want you to learn from this is what I'm doing with my life, what I'm doing with my business is, if everyone's doing it this way, why not try the other way? Because as I heard somebody I think I heard Hermosi say this, or maybe it was somebody else, they said, if everyone's broke, why are we listening to everybody, right? Why are we listening to the masses when the masses are broke? When the masses, and I'm not even talking about the gurus and their rented Lambos and all their other bullshit, why are we listening? Why are we doing what they're doing? Why don't we do the opposite? And what's the worst that could happen? So guys, if you want to keep reading your business books, keep reading them. But you will hit a point where I'm at right now, which is you're going to get tired. You're going to realize they're all the freaking same. And all I would ask you is, instead of just doing the same thing as everybody else, think differently. Think, if they're doing it this way, what if I did it the exact opposite? What would that look like? I'm out.